Hi everyone. Not sure if you can see. Perfect. Yeah. Bonjour tout le monde. Salam alaikum. Alors, il y a quelques personnes maintenant sur le live. Je vois qu'il y a peut-être une quinzaine de personnes, qui est bien. Les amis, merci d'avoir rejoint le live d'aujourd'hui. صراحة moi aussi, je suis très heureuse d'avoir fait ce live et on le fait aujourd'hui juste parce que je reçois beaucoup de messages de mes amis qui me disent des informations sur les contrats de travail, qui fait les contrats de travail, etc. Et je remercie aussi Madame Dianna parce qu'il a accepté de rejoindre ce live aujourd'hui juste pour nous parler un petit peu. Elle a les contrats de travail, عقود العمل في Canada, comment ça se passe, etc. Juste pour expliquer un petit peu comment ça va se passer pour le live. Donc, si vous avez des questions, les amis, ou là, أي question, n'hésitez pas de la poser في la partie ديال chat bar, qui est la partie ديال chat. Vous pouvez juste mettre la question d'Yallah et vers la fin du live, on va essayer, Inch'Allah, de répondre à quelques questions. Après, je voulais aussi clarifier un truc, c'est que Madame Dianna, elle va essayer de répondre à quelques questions, mais pas le détail. Mais elle va essayer juste de vous donner des idées concernant les contrats de travail. Après, si vous avez besoin des informations, les معلومات كيفاش انكم تواصلوا مع Madame Dianna, n'hésitez pas انكم تدخلوا la partie ديال description. راني حطيت كاع لي زانفورماسيون النيميرو ديالها لي كونتاكت اليوتيوب ديالها لا باج فيسبوك ديالها اوفيسيال اي ليميل اوسي كاينين بزاف ديال لي زارناك دونك لي زامي سي بو بلي زعما اسيو انكم تفوكاليزاو على هادوك لا بارتي على دوك لي زانفورماسيون اللي كاينين في لا ديسكريبسيون هادوك هما لي كونتاكت ديالها حتى حاجه ابار هادوك لي كونتاكت اللي محطوطين تما ما ديالها. Voilà les amis. Dianna, elle parle que anglais. Elle ne parle pas français, elle ne parle pas arabe malheureusement, mais c'est pas grave. On va essayer d'enregistrer le live comme ça il va rester sur la chaîne. Et Inch'Allah, je vais essayer de mettre des tarjamas بالعربية من بعد إن شاء الله, comme ça الناس اللي غيبداو يدخلوا من بعد بغاو يشوفوا يقدروا يلقاو aussi les informations en arabe. Mais هنحاول aussi أنني نترجم pour la réponse et quelques informations بالعربية إن شاء الله. Donc voilà, je pense qu'il y a pas mal de gens qui ont rejoint le live maintenant. Donc je vais passer la balle à Madame Dianna pour se présenter, pour nous donner des informations. Dianna, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for joining the live with us today. It's really great to have you with us.
So my name is Dianna Lifanica, and I'm actually in Buznika, Morocco, and I've been here in Morocco for 14 years. And my job here is to help people reach some kind of goal, and usually to do with work. I can't really consider myself a recruiter. I'm a consultant, actually. That's what my work is actually based on. Yeah, so I decided to join FatiZme here because there's people that I guess that have questions about what a work contract is and the details. So thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, sure. That is mine. So Dianna, please can you tell us more about like work contract, how it works? Because we know that there are many problems regarding that. There are many scams and people they get lost. They don't know if they have to trust any offices or to go like through the process. So if you can just explain to us a little bit like how it works in terms of work contracts and what is the process in general?
Okay, so work contracts usually are 3 years to 5 years in length. It depends who you get it through and their process. We basically do 3 years because after 2 years you should have your residency for Canada. So the last year is just a wasted year. And they have to be in the NOC code 0, A or B. So these are highly skilled people like managers, supervisors, nurses, teachers, chefs, anyone's in the trades. Now, for the truck drivers, they have to be supervisors, but there's certain ways to get around that. Anything that we do, there's a way to get around it if you have so many years of experience. Now if you know if it's real or not. If you're contacting an employer and he's asking for money, it's not real. That's illegal because they're not allowed to charge applicants anything. if you're going through a consultant as myself, you better know them, because even myself, I've had a Canadian come to Morocco and they scammed people. I mean, they took money and they disappeared. When I reported them in Canada, the police told me, you need to go to Morocco. Well, they're not going to come back to Morocco. So, I mean, what's the can do for them? So it's really, you have to do your diligence when it comes to investigating people. I'm always open. If someone wants to ask me specifically if this contract is real, I can usually tell if it's a real contract or not. And I can usually tell if the documents are real or not. Because there's a lot, they just hype everything, and it doesn't look real to me. I mean, Canadians are pretty simple. We don't hype things up with big letters and wages that are outrageous. I mean, if it was that hard, the salaries were like that, we as a Canadian would take that. Those are the work contracts. There's quite a few, but the ones that are the most important is the Francophone mobility program. This is for those who speak French but are going outside of Quebec. So the contracts are not in Quebec. Then there's the LMIA program, which is a very competitive one because the main language is either English or French. So if you're in Quebec, you would speak French. If you're in the rest of Canada, it would be English.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Diana. People are saying just like I think your voice is not heard very well.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry for that.
Turn up this mic either. Is it now clear?
Les amis واش كتسمعوا مزيان دابا؟ قولوا لينا عافاكم في التعاليق الا كنتو كتسمعوا مزيان دابا، الا كنسميو دابا. I will try just to summarize a little bit what have been said in Arabic for them, waiting for their feedback. Donc les amis, شنو قالت لنا مدام ديانا, c'est que il ne faut pas vraiment faire attention, il faut vraiment très faire attention الناس اللي كتشوفوا بحال دابا اللي جاو دي كنديين هنا للمغرب ولا ميم لي زامبلويور في كندا, اي واحد غيطلب لكم الفلوس, يعني يقول لكم حنا بان لكم كونطرا دو طرافاي بالفلوس, ne faites pas confiance ليه. علاش؟ باسكو سي illégal, غير قانوني على ان ان امبلويور يطلب لكم الفلوس باش انه يدير لكم دي كونطرا دو طرافاي, ça c'est illégal. Par contre, il faut aussi bien chercher concernant les agents اللي يقدروا يعاونوكم في لي كونطرا دو طرافاي, باسكو كاين مشكل كبير اوسي. كاينين دي كنديين اللي كيجيو لهنايا كيستغلوا النيه ديال الناس وطيبه ديال الناس اللي باغيين انهم يمشيو لكندا وانهم يديروا دي كونطرا دو طرافاي ويمشيو يخدموا على راسهم, كيستغلوا هذيك الفرصه باش انهم يمشيو وياخذوا فلوس الناس, تنسبوا على الناس. دونك سي بور سا لي زامي, il faut faire très attention, ما تثقوش باي واحد. شوفوا شي واحد لا كنتو كتعرفوه ان فريمون مشاو معاه الناس. بحال دابا ديانا ماشي باسكو جو في افيك لو لايف, سي باسكو فريمون هضروا لي عليها الناس وثقه فريمون مشاو معاها بزاف ديال الناس على برا. في الاول ما كانتش كدير هادشي دي كونطرا طرافاي بفلوس, كانت كديرو غراتويتمون بلا فلوس. مي ابخي بيسكو كثروا الناس بزاف اللي بداو كيطلبوا منها باش انها تعاونهم باش انهم يلقاو لي كونطرا دو طرافاي ويمشيو لكندا, سي بور سا بدات كدير هادشي. وتا الفلوس ما كتشارجيش بزاف, اي كتعاون الناس ماشي غير في انهم يلقاو كونطرا, حتى باش انهم بريبارو لي زونتروتيان ايتترا. اي هضرت لينا على واحد لي دو بروغرام, كاين LMIA بروغرام اللي هو واحد البروغرام اون فيت ديال كي فرانكوفون, سي بور الناس اللي كيهضروا بالفرونسي. وقالت لينا كو راه كاين بزاف, كاين اون فيت كاينين بزاف دي زوبورتونيتي بالنسبه للناس اللي كيهضروا الفرنسيه, باسكو هي لغه مطلوبه, واذا كنتو بيلانغ يعني كتهضروا اللغه الفرنسيه واللغه الانجليزيه فكيكون عندكم حظوظ اكثر باش انكم تلقاو دي كونطرا دو طرافاي في كندا. دونك هذه فقط اون جينيرال الحوايج اللي بقيت عاقله عليهم من داكشي اللي قالت ديانا. مي جو في لوي ليسي لا بارول, جيسبر كو تكونوا كتسمعوها دابا اكثر احسن. خليو لينا تعليق الا كنتو كتسمعوها احسن. So Diana, I try just to summarize a little bit what have been said.
I didn't understand nothing, so go right ahead.
Yeah. So I just tell them that I will just give the floor again to you, and if they hear us better, so they can leave us a comment so that we know.
Oh, okay. And can you hear me better now?
I think yes. Les amis, واش كتسمعوا ديانا مزيان؟ إلا كنتو كتسمعوها أحسن عافاك خليو لينا تعليق. Diana, you can speak and let's see like if they comment on it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you can hear me better now.
لي زامي واش كتسمعوا ديالنا احسن؟ الا كنتو كتسمعوا احسن عافاك خلونا هنا تعليق باش نكملوا باش تعاود لينا اكثر على لي تروك لي كونسيرن لي كونطرا دو ترافاي. Je vois qu'ils disent yes, yes, Diana, yes, yes, yes. Donc, oui.
That's okay.
Okay.
I'll try to speak a little bit louder. My voice is a little bit off, but I'll try. Okay, so
Perfect. So I think they said the voice is good.
okay.
Yeah. So, Diana, can you tell us more about the two programs, like the one regarding the LMIA one regarding the Francophone? So, how does it work? What is the process? Like, if people want, like, should they just like to apply for this program, for example? What is the first step? What should they do?
Well, in order to apply for these programs, you need to find an employer who's running under those programs. So the LMIA program is its official name is Labor Market Impact Assessment. And this one is not a benefit to Canada. It's more for the employers. It's literally to help fill shortages. It's a very long process for the employers. It can take up to 6 months. There's a lot of complexity to it. Like they have to advertise the job for Canadians first, I think for 4 months. And they have to keep advertising. They can't stop. Then they have two files. They have ones for Canadians and one for foreign workers. They must interview the Canadians first. If they don't find a Canadian, then they can go for the foreign workers. And they need to prove to our government that there is the need for them, that no other Canadian can fill this job. So it's a very complex kind of situation. The employer has to pay 1,000 Canadian dollars to the government, and it's not guaranteed that they're going to get an authorization. So if the government starts their little looking into if it's viable, whatever, and they say, no, we can't give you an authorization code, they lose 1,000 Canadian dollars per applicant. If the applicant does not get a visa, they lose $1,000. So for the employer, it's kind of like, oh, like, am I going to lose this money? They also have to pay for airfare. So what happens is a lot of applicants go, I don't like the job, they quit. And the employer ends up losing all the money he's already spent on this applicant, which can run up to $5,000 a person. So that's the LMIA. You don't have to take usually any kind of language test because it's not an immigration program. Now for the Francophone program, it is totally different. There is no age limit. There is no nationality. As long as you speak French and you prove that you speak French, you can apply. The thing about the Francophone mobility program, the employer, they pay 230 Canadian dollars. If they don't get the visa, they get a refund. So the employer goes, yeah, that's a good one for me. They don't lose anything. They don't have to pay for the airfare. So those are the two programs. The thing is, between the two, the LMIA is open to anyone who speaks either English or French. The Francophone mobility is only open to those who can speak French at a B2 or a CLB7 level.
Okay.
And they need to be skilled in the Francophone mobility program.
Okay. It needs to be a skilled trade?
Not a trade, a skilled, like they need to be a manager, a supervisor, a doctor, a nurse, a cook, a baker, mechanic, welder. So anyone who usually works with their hands, they can fall under this. Yeah, so it's not code 0A and B. You can look that up in the government website and they'll list all the different jobs for them. For the LMIA, it doesn't matter which one it is. It could be any of them.
Okay, perfect. Donc les amis, I will try just to Donc les amis qui me سمعتوا المهم غنحاول غير نترجم غير شويه parce que elle a parlé vraiment de beaucoup de choses qui sont très très intéressantes. كاينين en fait deux programmes. Ce qui est intéressant c'est que واحد من هذوك les programmes اللي هو LMIA c'est un programme qui est pour les gens qui sont francophones يعني qui parlent le français et qui parlent aussi anglais. هاد الناس هادو quel que soit le field parce que je vois des questions ناس كيسولوا على les contrats en informatique, construction, le domaine automobile, génie civil. Donc في هاد الكوتي هذا في هاد البروغرام هذا quel que soit الدومين ديالكم ولا الخدمه ديالكم normalement vous êtes éligible à هذا البروغرام tant que vous parlez les deux langues officielles l'anglais et le français. Pour l'autre programme c'est بالنسبه للناس اللي عندهم skilled يعني عندهم كيخدموا سوا بيديهم بحال دابا البيكرز الناس كيخدموا في بحال دابا هكا لي سائقين ديال الطاكسي دي تروك بحال هكا. هاد الناس هادو ils sont éligibles pour le deuxième programme et بالنسبه للبروسيس pour parler avec sur le process en général يعني vite fait هضرت لينا على ان لا بروميير ايتاب بالنسبه للبروغرام الاول ديال سكيلد. هذا البروغرام هذا خاصكم تلقاو ان امبلويور في كندا اللي كيقبل لي انترناسيونال. نورمالمون كومون سا سباس في كندا؟ في كندا اي امبلويور بغى انه ريكروتي الناس من ان انترناسيونال يعني من المغرب باش يجيبهم ولا من الجزائر باش انهم يجيبهم لكندا باش يخدموا تما. المشكله اللي كاينه سي كو خاصو يخلص الفلوس الغوفرنمون. هضرت على $100,000 ماشي ثمن يعني قليل. هضرت على ان كل واحد يعني كل ابليكانت يعني على برا بغى ان امبلويور يجيبو خاص يخلص عليه $1,000. Donc c'est de l'argent اللي خاصهم يخلصوها. et هضرت لينا اوسي ديالنا على ان كاينين en fait في لي زامبلويور فاش كيبغيو يجيبوا ليا العالم على برا خاصهم يدوزوا بعدا لي زونتروتيان الكنديين من الاولين باسكو هما اللي عندهم الاولويه. اذا ما لقاوش لي كنديان اللي غادي يعمروا بهم هذاك لومبلوا في كندا عاد ديك الساعات خاصهم يلتجؤوا ليد العامله من على برا باش يجيبوها. دونك هذا اوسي ان بوين كي امبورطون. وهضرت لينا جو بونس اوسي على لو فيت ديال ان بعد ما كيوقعوا مشاكل يعني الناس كتمشي يعني كدير البروسيس كامل كتوصل لكندا ما كيعجبهاش الخدمه وصافي ما كتبقاش باغيه انها تمشي. اي دونك وهذا مشكل كيشكل عائق كبير لي زامبلويور باسكو كيخلصوا $1,000 اي بحال كيكبوا هكاك في الرمله يعني كتمشي ليهم باسكو الواحد كيمشي لكندا وما كيبقاش باغي يبقى في هذيك الخدمه. بعد ما كيوقعوا من مشاكل قبل يعني الناس بحال دابا كتكون في البروسيس وما كتكونش بحال دابا هكا كتبقى كتلعب ني با سيريو. دونك هذا اوسي كيشكل عائق بالنسبه لي زامبلويور باسكو كيانفيستيو فلوس كياخذوا لوتوريزاسيون من عند الغوفرنمون كيخلصوا عليها الفلوس باش انهم يجيبوا لي العامله على برا. دونك اي واحد لي زامي اللي انتريسي باش انه يبدا البروسيس انا كنصحكم جديين تاخذوا هادشي جدي ونيزيتي با دو لا كونتاكتي هي راه كتجاوب على لي كيسيون ايتترا باسكو كانت هضرت على هادشي قبل قالت لينا على ان الناس بحال دابا اللي يسولوا ديك السؤال ديال ان لا واش كتقلبوا بحال دابا على على بحال دابا دي كونسلطون هكا ديال اللي كيعاونوا ان في كونطرا دو طرافاي الا كنتو شاكين ولا شي حاجه vous pouvez la contacter تقدر تعاونكم يعني كاستشاره اوسي. So Dianna, I try just to explain a little bit, not going into details because you said so many interesting things and I don't remember everything unfortunately, so I just keep the main things. So next question. So you talked about the sectors. So my understanding is that all people that go through the LMIA program they are eligible wherever their sector is and wherever which is the skills, etc. So let's talk about language now. What is the language requirements in general for both programs?
Okay, for the LMIA, it needs to be either English or French. It has to be one or the other. It can't just be they can't come back. Used to be before they could say Arabic or they could say Chinese, but now it needs to be English or French. For the LMIA, usually they don't test the language.
Okay.
Because it's between you and the employer, basically. Now, for the Francophone mobility program, normally they should not ask for the TCF because Morocco is a Francophone country and the habitual language here is French. Unfortunately, in January, they started asking for TCF. So we had to update that and ask our applicants for TCF2. And you need a CLB7. In my site, I will link these information below so that the people can know that. However, if you live outside of Morocco, we do testing through a different I don't speak French, so I mean I can't do it myself. We do it through a different entity, and it's an oral Skype test, and they evaluate your French based on the interview that they do with you. We're hoping, because I read the other day that the government is going to expedite things, so I'm hoping they're going to kind of like to forego the TCF testing. In January, we sent like 30 people to do the French test, the TCF Canada, and we pleaded with the embassy to. It's a hardship for people to pay 3,000 dirhams for a test, and they need to pass all of them. And really, are they going to use it in Canada? Not really. We sent numerous emails to the embassy. Then in March, we received 9 invites to the embassy. None of them took the TCF. None of them were requested to do the TCF. So we're hoping that the embassy kind of took into consideration the salary here, and the most people that we deal with, they have to support a family, mom, dad, husband, wife, whatever, children. So we were hoping that they changed their mind, but unfortunately, the crisis took. So those 9 people, they didn't do the interview, and after that, we haven't had any feedback. So they have to do the TCF now? I really don't know.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Okay. So just to summarize a little bit, my understanding is that for the LMIA one, either French or English is required, right? Okay. And for the Francophone one, it's both languages, and TCF is requested.
Well, what I say about the Francophone, you need English to get the contract.
Okay.
So the English is between you and that employer. If he thinks you don't speak English, you don't get it. But you need that visa. You need the French to get that visa. Okay. You need an oral of a B2. But if the embassy asks for TCF, you need CLB7 on all 4 levels: reading, writing, speaking, and listening.
Okay, I will try to translate that. Donc, les amis, سولت ديانا par rapport للغة، يعني بالنسبة للانجلي والفرنسي واش مطلوبة، واش ضرورية، واش اوبليغاتوار، واش خاص دي تيست. دونك غنشرح لكم شنو قالت لينا. دونك كما قلت لكم قبل كاينين 2 بروغرام، كاين لو بروغرام الاول اللي هو LMIA بروغرام، وكاين لو دوزيام بروغرام اللي هو البروغرام فرانكوفون. بالنسبه للالميا بروغرام قالت لنا كو هذا البروغرام هو اللي كنت هضرت عليه قبيله، اللي قلت لكم اي واحد كلكو سوا لو سيكتور ديالو ولا الاكتيفيتي، يعني فين ما كان خدام الى اليجيبل سي لا اللغه. بالنسبه للالميا بروغرام خاص تكون عندكم سوا لونجلي سوا الفرنسي، وحده فيهم qui est obligatoire et ما محتاجيش التيست. vous n'avez pas besoin d'un test بالنسبه للالميا بروغرام، ولكن خاصكم ضروري تكونوا كتقنوا لغه واحده من هذه اللغات، سوا لونجلي سوا الفرنسي، تكونوا كتقنوها مزيان. دونك هذا بالنسبه للبروغرام الاول. بالنسبه للبروغرام الثاني اللي هو الفرانكوفون، هذا هو البروغرام اللي كيكونسيرن الناس اللي خدامين، يعني بحال دابا هكا الكويزينيي، ولا اللي خدامين في هكا قلت لكم سائقين ديال الطاكسيات، ولا خدامين في كودي كوافور، ولا المهم كاينين بزاف ديال المهن. بالنسبه لهذا البروغرام هذاك اللي هو فرانكوفون، خاصكم ضروري لي دو لونغ. خاصكم لا لونغ فرونسيز بالنسبه للفيزا، باش كتدفعوا الورق الفيزا باش كتخرج لكم بيرمي دو ترافاي، كيطلبوا لكم TCF et خاصكم تدوزوا TCF. il est obligatoire actuellement malgré que قالت لنا on sait pas ils sont en train de voir et simplifier la procédure, donc يقدروا انهم يسولوا TCF. mais actuellement دابا حاليا مطلوب TCF بالنسبه للفيزا، et خاصكم لونجلي باش كدوزوا لونتروتيان. باسكو هذا البروغرام هذا فرانكوفون. علاش تسمى فرانكوفون؟ سي باسكو المقاطعات ابار المقاطعه ديال كيبيك، فوالا اوتسايد كيبيك، ابار المقاطعات كيبيك كلهم كيبحثوا على اليد العامله اللي كتهضر بالفرنسيه. اي دونك خاصكم فاش دوزو بلوتو كتهضر فرنسيه وكتهضر اوسي بلونجلي، يعني لي دو لونغ. اي دونك خاصكم فاش دوزو لونتروتيان مع لومبلويور في كندا خاص تدوزو لكم بلونجلي، اي دونك خاصكم تكون عندكم اللغه الانجليزيه بالنسبه للونتروتيان. الفرنسي كتطلبها فقط لومباساد، هو اللي كيطلبها باش انكم باش كيخرج لكم لو بيرمي دو ترافاي، ولا المهم الورق ديالكم خاصكم تيستي اوبليغاتوار. So I tried to translate a little bit. Dianna, thank you so much for being with me here. Yeah. Also I have a question. So regarding the process, like how much it takes in terms of time.
So it depends on which country you're applying for. First of all, if your CV is well written, like I do give samples where I do the first one, I just send it to the employer. If you don't get an interview, then I update it myself to give it what the employer is actually looking for. So it really depends on how you do those interview skills. We provide you with the information you need to pass that interview in English. So hopefully, like we have people who take the contract the first time they sit down with the employer. The first employer, they get the contract. That usually takes maybe between, usually for 1 week. Once you start the process, after you meet our director, then it's usually 1 week after you do the first interview. The process in Morocco last year was 29 weeks. Now I've seen it went down to 14 weeks. So it really depends on how busy the embassy is going to be. Now I'm hoping with this new process, they're going to streamline it, make it a little bit faster, because a lot of employers aren't willing to wait that long. In Qatar, we're looking at 43 weeks. So that's 10 months, almost 11 months. And by the time those people get the visas, the person, who are you? So I'm hoping that the government's going to be a little bit more diligent in getting these work permits, visas stamped as quickly as possible. Because I can't see how it takes 11 months to go through a person's file. Yeah. So the process I don't think is really that long, but you have to be diligent. I mean, for example, with people who come through me, if they don't get any interview in 3 months, they need to inform me. We update their CV, add a few little tweaks to it, and I send it back so that they're back on top again. If you wait and wait and wait, you just might get lost in the shuffle because maybe your CV wasn't well written. And like I get a lot of CVs, I'm just like, what is your work? Because I have no clue. I don't know what you do in your job, So people have to look for that, how to write the proper CV to entice the employer. Because once a person gets an interview, it's all about why you want to go to Canada. You know that there's a lot of snow here. It's not really work-based, you know what I mean? It's more how can you adapt? So, and more of your personality gets through. But on a piece of paper, it's very hard to put your personality through.
Okay, that's interesting. And whatever is the program, like for both of them, it's the same process, the same timelines.
No. The LMA is very long. It can take 4 to 6 months just to get the authorization from the government. Yeah, for example, for the Francophone, if I put your CV into the government with the job offer, today or tomorrow I have the authorization. I don't have to prove nothing to the government. Like, did I look for a Canadian? I don't have to prove that. How long have I been in business? I don't have to prove nothing. You know what I mean? But for the LMIA, they have to prove a lot of things because the Francophone is a government benefit. So we're bringing people who speak French to the English side, so we build Francophone communities. So now this is a country benefit. It's not like the LMIA. An LMIA is just for the employer. Like maybe they don't have workers, they're closing down early, maybe their workers are just overstaffed, whatever. But it's an LMIA is employer benefit. The Francophone is Canadian, the whole country. So that we bring in Francophone people to British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and then the territories, but not Quebec. Quebec has their own programs.
Okay, interesting. I will try to translate a little bit and compare again. Alors, les amis, سولت ديانا على الوقت، شحال كتاخذ الوقت لا بروسيدور؟ باسكو هذه اوسي سؤال اللي يسول بزاف ديال الناس باغيين يعرفوا شحال كتاخذ الوقت. دونك لي زامي ان فيت بالنسبه لي دو بروغرام، بالنسبه للميا بروغرام اللي قلت لكم ما فيهش يعني خاص سوا الفرونسي سوا لونجلي اي بور تو لي سيكتور داكتيفيتي، هذا قالت لي كو كياخذ بزاف ديال الوقت يفو على الاقل 6 شهور بالنسبه للامبلويور باش ياخذ اوتوريزاسيون. علاش؟ باسكو هذا كيبينيفيسي لامبلويور، ما كيبينيفيسيش الدوله كامله، كيبينيفيسي لامبلويور اللي كيكون كيبحث على اليد العامله بالنسبه ليه هو، بالنسبه للخدمه ديالو هو، اي دونك كيجيبها، دونك كتبينيفيسي بور لو. دونك هذا بالنسبه للبروغرام الاول. بالنسبه للبروغرام الثاني اللي هو الفرانكوفون، هذا البروغرام هذا قالت لنا كو نورمالمون يبينيفيسي الدوله كامله، الكونتري كامله، يعني دوله كندا كامله والاقتصاد ديالها كامل، حيث كيجلب اليد العامله بالنسبه للمقاطعات ابار مقاطعه كيبيك. هضرت لنا على جميع المقاطعات ابار مقاطعه كيبيك، كيجلب لهم اليد العامله اللي هي مطلوبه بالنسبه لي سيكتور كي سون اسونسيال اللي هضرت عليكم اللي قلت لكم قبل. دونك سي بور سا بور هذا البروغرام هذا نورمالمون الوقت ديالو ما كياخذش بزاف الوقت بحال الالميه. سا بو بروندر يعني واحد مهم عندكم على حسب ان فيت البروفيل ديالكم، على حسب السي في ديالكم. يعني الا كان عندكم السي في زوين وكنتو كاتبين وقادين السي في مزيان، تقدروا انكم دغيا تلقاو يعني ان امبلويور اللي يوز ليكم لونتروتيان. اون فوا لامبلويور كي اكسبتيكم صافي كتولي ديك الساعه القضيه ساهله، كتولي فقط لا كيستيون علاش بغيتو تجيو لكندا، دي تروك بحال هكا، وراه كاين البلد في كندا. المهم كيحاولوا يشوفوا واش فريمون فوز ات انتريسي دو بارتير في كندا. هادشي اللي كاين. دونك سا ديبون ان فيت دو فو. بالنسبه للبروغرام فرانكوفون خاصكم فريمون لي زامي انكم تقادوا السي في. هضرت لينا اوسي بور ال الناس اللي كيمشيو معاها. دونك بالنسبه ل3 شهور الاولى كتحاول على انها تقاد معكم السي في وتقلب معكم على لي زوفر دونبوا باش كدوزوا لي زونتروتيان. اي في حاله 3 شهور الاولى لا ما جبتو حتى شي اونتروتيان، اللي دوزتو دي زونتروتيان مع لي زومبلويور اي ما تقبلتو حتى شي اونتروتيان، هنا كتحاول انها تعاود معكم السي في وتعاود تشوف لكم يعني واش السي في ديالكم مقاد، واش مزيان. كتعاود انها تقاد لكم السي في بلي نورم كنديان، اي تحاول انها عاوتاني تقلب لكم على لي زومبلويور اللي دوزوا لكم لي زونتروتيان اي يقبلوكم. دونك اون فيت سا ديبون اوسي بالمجهودات ديالكم لي زام. دونك هادشي اللي قالت لي بالنسبه للوقت اللي كياخذ يعني الوقت اللي خاصكم باش انكم يعني اون جينيرال بور لي دو بروغرام. So I try to translate a little bit, Diana. I'm sorry if I'm taking too long. I'm just trying to take the main information. Yeah. Yeah. So I also have a quick question regarding the. Oh my God, the questions are getting a lot, and I'm getting a little bit lost. Yeah. So generally in terms of the cost. Let's talk about the cost, because this is also a question that we get a lot, and people want to know like how much it costs for them. Do they have to pay something, and how it works, and at what level they need to pay? So like those kind of questions.
Okay, so if we're talking about my agency, we are a registered company in Morocco as a consulting I'm a consulting person, so I do charge. What do I charge for? I pay other people to do work for me that I can't do, like French courses, French testing, things to do with French. I mean, I can't do that for them. Also, I charge for my time. I mean, I'm not coming in here with nothing. You know what I mean? I have something. More than 800 people went to Canada. People come to me for help. If you go to a doctor, you're going to pay him the minute you walk in that door. He's not going to tell you if he can cure you or not, right? So it's the same thing as me. I do charge a fee, but it's not for a contract. It's not for a guarantee of anything. It's for the services that I provide. If I'm not going to twist anyone's arm to come to me. No, you can go wherever you want. But if you are looking for specific assistance, that's what I do. I do not take CVs just from anyone. If, for example, right now we're looking for cooks and food service supervisors, sorry. If you are not one of those, I tell you, go to my YouTube. When I get a different job offers, I will post it there and you can apply. But I don't take CVs because there is a process. There are fees to pay. For my fees, unfortunately, they're paid upfront. And this is due to the fact that people think that I'm a tryout kind of company. Oh, they will just take whatever contract they get, whether it comes from me or someone else. And then we let our employers down. Now, because I don't want to people think that I'm a thief. I do give a refund of money I do not use. So the inscription, if you deposit your CV and we do this and that, you are going to pay for those services. and they will come off that. If in 6 months you do not get any kind of job offer or contract, I will refund a portion of that money. If you take a job offer from someone else outside of my company and you expect that money back, no, you wasted my time by doing that. So I'm not going to go into specifics on how much money I charge, but believe me, according to everyone, for what they get, it's not a lot of money.
دونك ديانا قالت لنا كو لي زامي نورمالمون هي ما كطلبش بزاف الفلوس. هي حلات اصلا قناه يوتيوب ديالها حاليا باش انها كتهضر لكم على هذا البروغرام وكتبعي الناس دي زانفورماسيون غراتويتمون. واوسي هضرت لك على انها راه بالنسبه للناس ما باغيينش يعني يخلصوا حتى شي حاجه، ممكن انهم يمشيو فقط لقناه اليوتيوب ديالها يشوفوا لي زانفورماسيون. اي اوسي راه كتبوستي دي جوب اوفر، يعني لي زوفر دومبلوا اللي كيكونوا راه كتحاول انها تبارطاجيهم وتبوستيهم بالنسبه للناس اللي باغيين يديروا البروسيس بوحدهم، يعني يقادوا السي في ديالهم بوحدهم، يقادوا هادشي كامل باش انهم يدفعوا زعما يدفعوا راسهم البروسيس كامل. بالنسبه للناس اللي مهتمه وباغي انها تمشي عن طريق ديانا، نيزيتي با. هي قالت انها ما كتشارجيش بزاف الفلوس فريمون بارابور زعما داكشي اللي كيفاكتوريو دي كابيني واحد اخرين، هي ما كتشارجيش بزاف. واصلا كما قلت لكم لي زامي ونعاود نقول لها في الاول، هي اصلا ما كانتش كتشارجي حتى شي حاجه، كدير هادشي كله غراتويتمون. مي بحكم ان بزاف الناس كثروا، بزاف الناس كيطلبوا منها المساعده، وبحكم انها كتانفيستي اوسي من الوقت ديالها، سي بور سو ولات كتشارجي واحد الثمن اللي هو بسيط بزاف. الناس كي سون انتريسي وباغي يعرفوا شحال الثمن اون جينيرال بالنسبه اللي كتشارجي ايتترا، راني خليت لكم المعلومات ديالها في لا ديسكريبسيون، يعني ديال هاد لا فيديو. غير كليكيو سور لا ديسكريبسيون غادي تلقاو لي زانفورماسيون ديالها، النيميرو التليفون، الايميل ديالها اي لا باج ديالها. دخلوا عندها وسقسيوها غادي تجاوبكم. اوسي لي زامي كاينين الناس اللي خدامين معاها، هي كتقول لكم على انكم الا كنتو باغيين انكم تمشيو يعني في هاد يعني معاها، كونتاكتيوها هي، ماشي شي واحد اللي خدام معاها ولا باسكو يقدر يوقع شي مشكل، يقدر شي واحد يستغل الوضعيه. دونك خاص ضروري هي اللي تعاونكم، اللي تساعدكم باش انكم يعني ما تاخذوش فلوس من عند شي واحد. دابا في حاله اذا نفترضوا انكم خلصتوها ومشيتوا في البروسيس ديالها ايتترا، مي وقع مشكل، دونك هنايا قالت لنا كو غادي تحاول انها ترد لكم اون بارتي من هذوك الفلوس. بيان سور الا كنتو ما قدرتوش على انكم تمشيو، دونك ضروري غادي تهز واحد لابارتي الفلوس وغادي تردها لكم. دونك هادشي اللي هضرت لينا اون جينيرال. من الناس اللي بغات تعرف اكثر بلوس دانفورماسيون، نيزيتي با انكم تدخلوا عندها. راني خليت لكم اونكور لي زامي صندوق الوصف، خليت لكم لي كونتاكت ديالها، غير دخلوا وشوفوا فريمون. Yeah, so Dianna, I try to translate a little bit again, just to give a little bit of information. Some people are asking like how can they know about these jobs? Like, are there any specific resources where they can check if they want to go through the process themselves, or like what do you advise them in general?
Well, you know what, to be honest with you, a lot of candidates, they have found their own contracts. I mean, you just have to apply. You have to get your CV out there so that people know. But the most important thing is you need to let them know that you are LMIA exempt. That means the employer doesn't have to go through the LMIA process. There are a lot of companies out there, individuals like myself, who are looking for candidates, especially in the hospitality. There's lots. But you just need to find one you can trust. You know what I mean? That's not going to make promises and in the end you get nothing. Yeah.
Okay.
So my answer is apply.
Thank you, Dianna. So I will translate. دونك لي زامي سولت ديانا بالنسبه للناس اللي باغيين يديروا البروسيدور بوحدهم، فين يقدروا يلقاو هاد لي كونطرا، ولا فين يقدروا يلقاو هاد لي زوفر دومبلوا. دونك اللي قالت لينا اون جينيرال سي كو كاينين بزاف ديال الناس اللي يقدروا على انهم يمشيو لكندا بوحدهم، يعني يقلبوا على لي كونطرا دو ترافاي، يلقاو لي زومبلويور راسهم. يفو جوست شيرشي، قالت لينا اون جينيرال يفو شيرشي، يعني تاكتيفاو سور لي سيت ويب، تدخلوا شوفوا لي زومبلويور كي اكسبت. بارفو لي زانونس راه كيكونوا دايرين بحال اون اكسبت لي انترناسيونال، دونك essayer de les contacter. Et voilà, il faut vraiment faire beaucoup d'efforts personnels pour trouver les employeurs normalement quand on fait la procédure seule. ولكن راه كاينين الناس يقدروا انهم يديروها. n'hésitez pas يعني انكم تدخلوا parce que كاينين بزاف ديال الطلب surtout في لي سيكتور بحال الهوسبيتاليتي اللي هو سيكتور ديال التوريزم ديال تو سكي يعني ديال الترفيه اون جينيرال. هاد لو سيكتور هذا مطلوب بزاف اي دونك كاينين فيه بزاف لي زوفر دونطلوا. Okay, so I translated like the main information again. Also, I have a question about like, so how long these contracts are for? Like, are they for 1 year? Are they for 3 years?
Yeah, they're for 3 years.
Okay.
But after 1 year, you should apply for your Canadian working class experience. And then after 2 years, you should have your PR, your residency card in Canada.
Okay.
So each province is different, but usually from what I see, that's about basically how long it takes.
Ok, interesting. Donc, les amis, سولت ديالنا par rapport على la durée ديال هاد الكونترا دو ترافاي اللي كيمشيو بهم الناس لكندا شحال هو الوقت ديالهم. دونك قالت لي كتاخذ الوقت 3 سنين. عندك الكونترا اللي فاش كتسني مع الامبلويور كتكون فيه مده ديال 3 سنين كتمشي لكندا كتخدم 3 سنين. دابا الناس اللي غتسولني شنو غادي دير من بعد ديك 3 سنين فاش غتمشي لكندا يعني سميت الكونترا تمشي تخدم ولكن بعد 3 سنين. بعد 3 سنين كما قالت لنا ديالنا ممكن انكم تدفعوا لا ريزيدونس بيرمانونت يعني باش انكم تاخذوا الورق ديالكم في الولايه يعني مقيمين دائمين في كندا. حيت اون فوا كتجلسوا يعني في كندا بوندون 3 ans نورمالمون عندكم الحق انكم ديجا تابليكيو وتاخذوا لا ريزيدونس بيرمانونت ديالكم. Okay, Dianna, so I translated this one. So I see that we still have 20 minutes and I don't want to take a lot of your time because I know that you are also very, very busy. So do you want to start taking some questions?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. So I will try just to go quickly and like just pick some questions. So someone is asking about like high profiles, like an executive chef or something like that. Are they also eligible to apply for these programs?
Yeah, they are. I don't know if anyone knows the Master Chef Morocco, but he did go to Canada and he went as a line cook. Yeah. So it depends on, first of all, how you convince the employer. Usually with those kind of CVs, we kind of cut it down so it doesn't sound like they're overqualified. And then when you meet the employer, you're going to have to convince him that you're not just using him as a stepping stone into Canada, that you're willing to start at the bottom, work your way up, because you know yourself that in a short time, you will be the head chef of that restaurant or that company, whatever the case may be. And then when you get to the embassy, you have to convince them that you know what you're doing and it's not a problem for you. Again, that you know the position you've applied to. Morocco and Canada are two different kind of countries that run totally different when it comes to business. So that's how we try to prep our applicants so that they're prepared for those kind of questions. So it doesn't feel like you're being suckered into something that you, like a lie. You know, oh yeah, you're going to be an executive chef. You're going to have this big house and this beautiful gold car. Yeah, that you know what you're getting yourself into. So yeah, they can, as long as they know what they're getting into.
Okay. So next question. Someone is asking about COVID-19 restrictions and impacts on the process and the F&B industry.
Okay, so the COVID-19 really has nothing to do with, immigration. During this time, we did not pop out 2 million babies. You know what I mean? We still need 350,000 people every year to enter Canada to fill the gap in between the ages. So yes, the pandemic shut down the borders and a lot of things, but it's still a daily what we need to build our country, the economy. So I don't think it has a big impact on it. My mind is really worn with the time. Maybe a few weeks ago, June 1st, McDonald's reopened, and they were asking me for applicants. And 3 men just like that got their contracts. So, but they're not allowed to come until September. That's the only thing. So that's the thing is if the borders open, which we're seeing hopefully in July they will, It's like anywhere. No one wants to sit inside the house and do nothing. There's going to be things put into place like that. You can ask any of the Moroccans who are in Canada. The businesses are slowly starting to open. I'm not in Canada, so I can't really answer that. But I'm talking about the Moroccans who've told me, yes, Dianna, they're slowly opening here. We're getting back our hours and stuff. But I think that after the summer, I think it'll be okay.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, yeah, perfect. I have also a question, and this one is in French. So they are asking about like who choose the program. Is it like the candidate or how it goes?
Whichever employer you find. So, for example, if you speak, I know I have McDonald's people. They found contracts in Quebec because that's where they felt comfortable. You know what I mean? So it depends on your language abilities and what kind of employer you find. If you find an employer under the Francophone mobility program, go that way. If you find an employer in Quebec, go that way. If you fall under the C or D category in the NOC, you can only do LMIA. So that's the only program you can work under.
Perfect.
So you have to choose.
Yeah, I will try to translate that one because the question was in French. Donc, l'ami qui a demandé qui choisit le programme, donc en fait, c'est vous qui choisissez. انتم اللي كتختاروا البروغرام اللي باغيين تمشيو فيه et ça dépend aussi de l'employeur. يعني الا لقيتو بحال دابا l'employeur, je sais pas, في كيبيك عندهم لي بروغرام ديالهم بوحدهم. À part كيبيك كاين دي بروغرام بوحدهم. Donc, ça dépend de vous et aussi ديال l'employeur اللي غادي تمشيو معاه. Donc, voilà, pour هاد la question. I have also another question. So this one is in English. So they are asking about like someone is working in Saudi Arabia and he's asking if the process is the same as Morocco.
No. Saudi Arabia, alhamdulillah, it's the best country. I tell you, they do no interviews, no medicals, nothing. 6 to 8 weeks they have their visa. They should be the norm for every country. I mean, it's weird. They go through, of course, the documents to make sure everything is good. But I have not had a single problem with Saudi applicants. We do prep them for the French test. They have to do a French test. This is for our employers. Because I don't speak French and I can't take their word that they do. If ever the embassy decided to change their process, I know if they speak French or not. We do offer French courses so that they're prepared. We give them whatever they need to, and they're warned. Yes, maybe your French is not that good, but you need to bring it up in case the embassy asks. So in Saudi, it's the same process we follow here, except at the end. I mean, it takes 6 to 8 weeks to get their visa. There is no interview, no medical, and that's all. So it's very quick from Saudi.
Perfect. And we have also another question, and someone is asking about like the language test. At which stage they should pass it? Is it at the beginning or at the end or at which stage?
That's a good question. Because the Institute de France is not open yet. I have some applicants apply. We are still doing the oral French test. We will take that until I am told otherwise. Because this is the norm for us. Before January of this year, we were just doing oral French tests, make sure everyone followed within the CLB7, the B2 level, and it was fine. But the Institut de France is closed. So we still need to, I mean, our McDonald's employers are still asking us, please send us those employees. So what we're going to do is we will give the oral French test, but they are warned that sometime in the future, the embassy may ask for it, or they may be asked for it to proceed. Yeah, so I can't really answer that one like to the T type of thing, no.
Yeah.
If you want to apply, you will do a French test oral. And maybe in the future, if we find out the embassy is asking for it, you will be required to do the TCF.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and we have also another question about like someone who have their PR permission and they're asking if they're still like if they're eligible to apply like as a way to find a job there in Canada.
The problem with express entry, we've had this problem. They're using me as a bridge to get to Canada. And they don't even show up at the employer's place. You know what I mean? They don't even give it a shot. And then the employer comes back to us and says, this is the kind of people we're bringing? No, we don't want them. So the director is really tough when it comes to those who are in express entry. He has asked people to stop their program. If they're in the ARIMA, they must quit it if they want to proceed, because we can't process someone, we can't give someone to the employer, and then after they say, oh, by the way, I just got my acceptance into this, and goodbye, I'm not going to that place. So, no.
Yeah. We also have a question which is regarding like for the work that they have in Morocco. Should they be like, did they require like CDSs and the other documents, the work documents? Is it mandatory, or if they just work like, let's say, as like in the bakery or something like that without like paperwork?
No. You have to understand that with the government, they still have to answer to the Canadian people. So if I'm going to bring a baker from Morocco, for example, me, I can bake. I mean, I did that all my life. But this company is asking for bakers with 2 years of experience. Now, they're looking for bakers with 2 years of experience, right? And me, I come and I say, okay, I want to apply. They say, well, you don't have any experience. And then a Francophone person applies, they have no experience. By law, they have to take me because I'm the Canadian. I don't have the experience, neither does the foreign worker. So you need to show experience in the same job. So if you're applying for a baker position or a cook position, a mechanic, you need to show us 2 years of work experience with work certificates, real work certificates. Synesis, the embassy knows that a lot of employers do not pay Synesis here. I mean, we sent 3 newspaper reports from Morocco that actually shows that the majority of Moroccan employers do not pay Synesis. So can they ask for it? Really? No, they do ask for it. But when you get to the embassy, you say, you know what? It's either I work without Synesis or I don't work at all. What are you going to choose? You're going to work.
Yeah,
so I don't ask for Synesis.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah, so I think those are the main questions that we received. Dianna, I'm not sure if you have some time to take maybe more questions or if you want to stop the live here.
No, I've got a little bit more time. It's Saturday, so I'm not really doing too much today. Like I said, I just had surgery on this eye. I don't venture outside very much.
Yeah, I hope now you can see very well.
Well, it's a lot better than before.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, someone is asking again about the money. Like, do they pay the money at once at the beginning, or they have to pay like the money through different stages?
There's 2 stages, at the beginning and at the end. Yeah, but the majority is at the beginning because we pay for the French testing, we pay for French courses or whatever, our time. You know, you have to pay for my time. I mean, I'm not going to do it for free. I don't have a husband. I pay my rent here. I buy my food. You know, I move around. I've been here 14 years, and people, they think that I should be working for free here. Well, no one's paying me, you know. So yeah, my services are not free. I have seen Moroccans who have agencies in Casablanca, and they charge, one told me, 450,000 dirhams. Some charge 50,000 dirhams. And they go to them and they just like give them money. Oh. But when it comes to me, just to give me 5 dirhams, they're like, oh, what for? You should be free. I was like, I'm not free, unfortunately. I wish I was, but no one supports me here. I support myself. If people want my help, they need to pay for my knowledge. I don't work just with one company. I work with a lot. Like I told you, McDonald's contacted me. They told me, Dianna, I need workers. Wendy's, they contacted me. They say, Dianna, I need workers. So Boston Pizza, Tim Hortons. So there's companies who contact me. Why? Because other people have told them, this woman, she will get you people, and she doesn't charge like money like outrageous is going to tear someone's arm off. Yeah. So people have to realize I'm not a charity here. I can't.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely. I totally understand that. And I think people will understand that too. Someone is also asking, so this question is in Arabic. So he's asking about like the educational level. Is there any requirements for that?
Okay, so for the education, the minimum we can accept is a nouveau bac.
Okay.
If you have, I don't know what you call before a nouveau bac, but just high school, and then you have a 2-year diploma, we will accept a 2-year diploma. If you have no diploma, you just have a nouveau bac, we will accept it, but you may find it a little bit difficult to stay in Canada as a resident. That's the only drawback. But we have sent people who have just a high school diploma, nouveau bac, and I don't really know. I don't follow up on them because I don't do immigration. But I don't hear a lot of people who come back to Morocco unless they're visiting mom and dad, type of thing.
That's
so
true.
Just want to make this clear. If you have a diploma as a mechanic and you have 5 years experience as a cook, we don't care. The mechanic diploma will keep you in Canada. The cook is what's going to get you there.
Makes sense.
That makes sense?
Do they require like the transcripts? Yeah.
No, I require the diploma itself. When it comes to the nouveau bac, I think they give you a scolarity. I'm not too sure. I don't read French very well. But one applicant, the embassy did ask him for the transcripts.
Okay.
But we don't ask them.
Yeah. I will try to translate this one just because the question was in Arabic. دونك العميل اللي كان كيسول على واش الناس اللي ما عندهمش بحال دابا ما قارينش بزاف ولا واش كيطلبوا لي زيتود بالنسبه لعقود العمل. دونك قالت لنا كو نيفو باك خاص 6 ديالنا حنايا في المغرب هو اللي مطلوب نورمالمون. بالنسبه الناس اللي اوسي خدامه بحال دابا اللي خدامين ميكانيك ولا بحال دابا بحال هكا دي سيكتور بحال هكا سي بيان دافوار لو ديبلوم بحال دابا هكا من لوف بي بي تي ولا المهم ان ديبلوم اللي كيمونطر كو vous avez fait des études في هذاك لو سيكتور. مي ابخي سا الخبره هي اللي كتهم اكثر من القرايه كيف ما قالت. فالخبره سورتو هي اللي مطلوبه وخاصها تكون جوستيفيي يعني باغ عقد عمل ولا باغ دي تروك كوم سا. ابخي بالنسبه للناس اللي ديال نيفو باك قالت لنا كو يقدروا يطلبوا لكم لي بولتون يعني ترانسكريبت هما لي بولتون ديالكم القرايه يقدروا يطلبوهم في لومباساد. دونك هادشي اللي قالت لنا بارابور لهاد لا كيسيون هادي. So there is so I try to translate a little bit. There is a question regarding IT companies. So are there any chances for people who are in the IT or?
A few years ago, our company was looking for IT people because there was such a huge demand for them. So we took all these CVs, we went to IT companies, and they said to us, we prefer the Indian people. That was not what we wanted to hear. I have seen I don't know the exact name, it's like Journée Quebec. They were looking for computer people. So that's somewhere to look in Quebec. There is a company called Electronic Arts. It's in Burnaby, British Columbia. And I think they do have 7 Francophone speakers on their personnel. So that is another company too. I looked up their website the other day. They have a lot of jobs for IT people. But is it going to be just for Francophone? I don't know.
Okay, perfect. So I think we're almost at 11 now.
I just want to answer one question for Easy Food because I see it's asking me this same question. We are hoping, like in November, we received 9 requests for the embassy for an interview. none of them did the TCF Canada test or TEF Canada test. So we're hoping that the emails we sent to the embassy, they've kind of like said, okay, we will do that. We will not ask for the TCF. We will do a face-to-face interview. So that's my answer for that question. I'm hoping that they will stop asking for the TCF, except after a face-to-face interview. If you don't speak at a B2 level, yeah, do the TCF, because now you have to prove you speak French.
Yeah, I will try to translate. So people who are asking, I'm sorry, oh my god, I started speaking English. Ok. Donc, les gens qui se voulaient la langue, le TCF, en fait, Kathleen, que malheureusement, actuellement, il est obligatoire pour le côté, pour le programme francophone, il est obligatoire parce que l'ambassade, il le demande. Et comme je dis, le niveau CLB7, اللي هو en fait B2, le niveau B2, tous les tests, يعني que ce soit l'écrit ou l'oral ou le الكتابي ولا حتى اللي كديروا تسمعوا باسكو كاين 4 petits tests le test TCF كامل. دونك في لي 4 بارتي خاصكم تجيبوا على الاقل نيفو CLB 7 اللي كوريسبوند B2 في شاكان ديالهم. مي يقدروا دابا actuellement avec les changements اللي كيوقعوا يقدروا ils sont en train d'essayer de simplifier les trucs parce que en fait le TCF vous n'allez pas vraiment l'utiliser في Radio Guinée Canada, mais l'ambassade le demande, donc on peut rien faire en espérant que غادي يزولوه ما غيبقاش مطلوب في الفوتور ان شاء الله. So this is it. I translate for that question. I'm not sure, Dianna, if you want to take any more questions.
Yeah, I want to ask her another one. I want to answer another one. I see it's in French somewhere. Anyway, it's about servers. I want to explain about servers. Servers can apply for a food service supervisor, which is the people you see in McDonald's who control the équipiers. So I don't know what you call supervisor here in Canada and Morocco, but in Canada it's not a very high position. Yeah. So the servers need to have on their work certificates, it must say chef de range, captain, head waiter, maitre d'. It cannot just say server, because the server does not have any responsibility. So if you're one of those 4 things I mentioned, you can apply, but it will be for a food service supervisor, like what you see McDonald's or Burger King or KFC. That's what we use our head waiters for. Same as pastry chefs. Pastry chefs, we don't have any positions for, but we have been using them to work in Tim Hortons as the food service supervisors. But they need to understand that is the position. Some people have come back to me and say, I didn't want that job. You lied to me. I'm like, what the heck? I don't have pastry chef positions. You know, those are hard positions to find. In September, October, we're going to have some delegates, hopefully from Quebec, coming, and they own a lot of restaurants. And I'm hoping that they will be looking for cooks, chefs, and pastry cooks. Well, we'll see. Hopefully they will actually make it here.
Yeah, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's true. I also saw a question about someone who has been repeating it a lot. It's in French. So he's asking about the heavy truck drivers. Are they obliged to renew their license, their driver license, once they come here to Canada? Yes.
What they're going to have to do, they're going to have to take a course, because it's government. Something happened in Canada a few years ago that a foreign worker actually killed a busload of hockey players. The government just went ballistic with that, you know. So now the employers, they have to pay for courses. So you're going to have to change over your driver's license to, for example, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, or wherever it is you're going to be located. Now, if you're going to the English side of Canada under the Francophone mobility, the only way we can get around the truck driver, because it is not OA or B, is to be a supervisor. So you need between 3 to 5 years of experience as a truck driver to say to the government you have enough experience to be a supervisor.
I will try to translate that one. Pour l'ami qui a demandé concernant les chauffeurs du poids lourd, donc واش خاصهم يعملوا le test de conduite فاش يجيو لهنا لكندا. Oui, il faut le refaire parce que c'est une obligation et parce que حتى le système de conduite هنا في كندا عنده des règlements ديالو اللي مختلفين totalement على المغرب. Donc c'est un oui. So I translated for that one. Not sure if we have any more questions.
Okay, smell, bahoosh. Well, you know what? It shouldn't take more than 2 weeks, but I remember you've done your medical, I think, in April. So the best thing I would do is I would contact the doctor who did your medical and ask them if they did forward it to the embassy, because I mean, it shouldn't take that long to get your visa. I hope that answered your question. Smail, bahoosh. You're in Qatar, if I remember. I can't remember, sorry. Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question, Smail. Anything else?
So we have a question about fitness trainers and teachers. So any opportunities for them as well?
Okay, so we did have some employers that were interested in fitness trainers. We sent, good applicants to them, and they speak both French and English. They're very well. The employer got the CVs, and they decided not to go ahead. Now, we don't know why they've done that. Maybe the cost of the agency was going to charge them too much. Yeah, so I did a research on that. There's a lot of companies looking for them. So, and you are in the Francophone mobility program. So my suggestion is prepare a good CV, highlight that experience as a fitness trainer. Maybe, you do food diet or whatever the case may be, nutrition. And I would start sending them to employers and tell them that you are LMIA exempt. As for teachers, I know that we're looking for them, but every time we apply, the government says, nah, he doesn't have a Bachelor of Education. I seen a company in Nova Scotia, I think it's Le Petit Volier or something like that, I don't know. They were looking for Francophone teachers. So I know that there is. In Destination Canada, if you look up teachers, there's a lot. So I know they are looking for them. You just need to start getting out there and applying. Don't rely just on me to find them and post them. No. Because a lot of people say to me, Dianna, why don't you apply for us? I can't. Because people, for example, when I receive CVs from another person, I tell that person, have the original CV owner contact me. Because what I'm afraid of is there's some kind of money involved, that someone's saying, listen, I'll get you a contract. I know Madame Dianna, just pay me 20, 30, 40,000 dirhams, and I will talk to her to get a contract. So it's the same thing. If I approach employers and I say, listen, I have these candidates, they're good, the employer is going to say, how much is she charging them? That's a big problem for employers, that I'm approaching them and they think that I'm going to charge the employers and I'm going to charge the candidates. So they must apply on their own to these companies. The government website, no scammers there, because the government checks, which is the job bank, Canada.ca. government.ca. Yeah, so that's why I tell people, get out there, get your CV out there in English and start applying, because these employers are looking for people, but maybe the price is too high for them.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so we have more questions, and most of them are like, I'm not sure if you want to take any specific one, Dianna.
Well, jobs in hotels. We do get offers in hotels, but you're not looking for I think the biggest one we had in a hotel was a chef. He went as the actual chef in a hotel. And then a woman, she went as a events coordinator, banquet manager. And we have another woman who went as an executive housekeeper. And a gentleman who went as a night auditor. So they're not a lot. because these big hotels, they will find their own applicants. You know, like the Fairmont, the Chateau Lake Louise, or whatever it's called. Yeah, these hotels, they have their websites. You can just go there and apply for yourself because they're afraid someone's going to charge money. So they're going to do it themselves. Yeah, so that's why I tell people, get on the job bank, look for your job title, make sure that it's Francophone mobility, that you're exempt from the LMIA, and then start applying with a proper, a well-designed English CV. If you're going to throw them garbage, it's going to get to the garbage. They want to see something, this person seems interesting, maybe he can add to our culture, our work ethics, whatever. Yeah, you have to make yourself like sellable to them.
Yeah. And they mentioned like the Francophone mobility program on the job bank posts for the job offer?
No, they don't. No.
Okay.
You will never find an employer saying that they're going to the Francophone. I wish they would say the LMIA or Francophone. They don't, unfortunately. But the one clue is if, for example, if they say that location expenses, like travel expenses, are included, I would say they're going for something else beside a Canadian. If they say that if you speak French, and for example, it's in Alberta, where Alberta speaks just English, and it says that French is, a benefit for you, I would think that they're looking for a Francophone mobility person. So there's clues that they have there that would let them be open to Francophone, because they can't apply for someone who speaks English under the Francophone mobility program. That person needs to speak French.
Okay.
So for nurses, actually there's a new program. It's the Caregiver Pilot Program. I'm going to hopefully invite someone to come and talk about this program and how you can apply and the requirements. So on my YouTube channel, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for different types of job offers. Like I said, I work with a few companies. When they tell me that they have a contract or they're looking for these profiles, I will post them. And then it's up to people to apply directly to them. If it's with my name, that means they're my companies that are applying. If it's another company, I will put it there. If you have any doubt, always ask me, because those scammers, they're driving me crazy. They just steal things from me and then they make it look like it's me. So, yeah, ask me. I'm not. Don't be ashamed to ask me a question, because it's better than you losing mega amounts of money on these scammers.
I will translate one. Yeah, I will translate that one because it's very important. Donc les amis, كيف ما قالت ديانا فريمون اللي عندكم دي كيسيون ولا اي حاجه اللي تتبع انكم تسولوها باسكو كاينين بزاف ديال النصابه اون جينيرال سكامرز، نصابه اللي كنسبوا على عباد الله كياخذوا لهم فلوسهم بهذا الشيء ديال لي كونطرا دو ترافاي. دونك فريمون فيت اتونسيون لي زامي، نيزيتي با انكم تكونتاكتيوها لا عندكم دي كيسيون، هي راه elle accepte les questions عادي جدا كتجاوب عليهم et elle va inchallah vous rediriger et vous conseiller le maximum possible. Après aussi les amis, elle a déjà mentionné واحد الحاجه اللي هي انتريسونت على جوب بانك. الناس اللي باغيه تقلب على خدمه في كندا، نيزيتي با انكم تدخلوا لو سيت ديال جوب بانك باسكو سي ان سيت ديال غوفرنمون اي دونك ما فيهش لي سكامرز، يعني ما فيهش نصابه ولا شي حاجه. هذاك فيه دي امبلويور اللي فريمون يشارج دي الناس اللي يجيبوهم من على برا، يعني pour des contrats de travail. So I tried just to translate a bit here and there.
Okay, and one more point I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
I see a question for a food and beverage supervisor in hotels. If you come through our agency, I'm asking you, please don't be picky. If an employer offers you a contract, I would suggest take it, go there. Maybe you'll like it. If you don't, we can't hold you to a job. We're not like Abu Dhabi or Bahrain or whatever. We don't keep your passport. I never suggest leave an employer because they could back you up in your process for permanent residency. But if you turn down an offer, you just lost one person who is willing to help you. Some of the contracts I see, I start crying. I mean, I'm just like, as a Canadian, I mean, I could not accept that job. But you have to realize that a lot of employers, they're still under the idea of the LMIA program, so they believe that you're low skilled. We know you're not. I've seen people here who speak 7 languages. I mean, as a Canadian, I speak 2, and French is not one of them. So I'm asking people, if you come to our agency, don't be picky. If you do an interview with an employer, he offers you a contract, take it, because you will get your feet in Canada. At least you can try if it's good for you or not. But if you stay in Morocco and you say, no, I don't like the job offer, it's not good for me. Well, do immigration, because it will take you just as long to get to Canada, if longer. Yeah, that's my advice to people. So when it comes to specific, people say, I want to live in Vancouver. But if you're offered a job in Edmonton, Alberta, you're going to say no? Because believe me, you lost one company that will refuse to help you. Our director is like really strict. He's a good man, very, very good man, but he's strict. If you turn down an offer, we have to tell the employer why you turned it down. And yeah, it doesn't look good for us. Anyway, so that's my advice to people. Like I said, I do not take just any CVs. If I have a job for you that you can actually sit for an interview for, you can apply, but there's going to be a process, and there are going to be agency fees that will come into play.
That makes sense. I've seen someone who has been asking a lot this question, and he's a policeman or working in the military service, and he's asking like if he's eligible.
We have a few military people and policemen. One is a policeman. He went to Canada. But his work experience before was a general manager of Papa John's. We have had 2, 3, 1 cook. He works at the Palace. He was offered a job contract. Unfortunately, the embassy asked for his TCF. Now he's going to redo it because he didn't quite meet the requirements. We've had 2 military cooks that have been offered a job contract. And I think one of them, his French wasn't quite a good level. And the other one, I'm not too sure what happened to him. Maybe the embassy didn't believe his actual position in the military. And we had another policeman, and she said that his French wasn't good. So we do accept, but it has to depend on your experience. You need to have experience in what we're looking for. We tried security, no luck. They said they prefer to just take people from in Canada. The foreign workers are already in Canada.
Yeah.
Hi, Hisham. Yes, I remember that you applied in November. But as we said, just because you do a French test does not guarantee you a contract. I have literally taken your CV and ripped it apart because the one you sent me, it again shows that you're overqualified. So I cut a lot of that information out and put it to your last 2 jobs. I didn't change the name, but I changed your duties to seem to be a little bit less overqualified. So I'm hoping that this time it will work. But always email me and let me know.
Yeah, hopefully. We do have also a question for hairdresser who has 10 years of experience, but they don't have the experience papers.
No. Everyone needs to prove that they can do it. It's either by auto entrepreneur card, a registered to commerce, work certificates, or Synesis. So I need something that proves that that's exactly what they do. Because they can't take a job from a Canadian. You know, if they take someone who doesn't have any proof, well, they should be able to take me. Mind you, I would probably wreck their hair.
Yeah, I would translate this one. Donc les amis اللي كيسولوا عندهم les années d'expérience ولكن ما عندهمش الورق الخدمة، يعني ما عندهم لا سي ان اس لا كونترا دو ترافاي لا بولتان دو بي لا والو، les amis malheureusement ما يمكنش باسكو لي امبلويور خاصكم توريو لهم يعني تبروفيو كنتو فريمون خدامين وهما ما كيعرفوش شي حاجه كنتي خدام عندك 10 سنين ديكسبيريونس غير هكاك السما خاصهم ضروري كيطلبوا ضروري الوراق الخدمه على الاقل ورقه وحده ولا بحال دابا اما ليتر دو ترافاي ولا كونطرا دو ترافاي ولا سي ان اس اس المهم شي حاجه كي مونطر كو فوز افي فريمون او هذيك ليكسبيريونس د الخدمه في البلاد ديالك يعني في المغرب ça c'est obligatoire زعما c'est une chose que vraiment يعني كدات عليها سي خاص ضروري اوراق العمل بالنسبه للناس اللي عندهم بيزنس ديالهم بحال دابا الناس لي كوافور اللي عندهم بحال دابا هكا محل ديالهم هما اللي دايرينو خاصكم ديك لاكارت ديال الكوميرسون اللي كتكون عندكم اللي كتعطيها لكم الدوله اللي كتكون فيها عندكم يعني فوتر بروبر هكا ماغازان ولا جو سي با فوتر بروبر يعني محل ديال الحلاقه دونك فوالا ضروري خاص الوراق مالوغوزمون ديال الخدمه اللي كتبروفي ليكسبيريونس. So I try just to translate a little bit for that one.
So we need 2 years of experience mostly in any job we have. Sometimes we can get away with 1 year, but we leave that up to the employer if he's going to accept that or not. But for us, we like to see 2 years. We prefer not to accept people who are unemployed because that means now you need to go to Canada. Not that you want to, you need. Because you have nothing here in Morocco or in UAE or Saudi, whatever. Yeah, so we don't look for people who have a long unemployment history or choppy because they're afraid that you're going to get to Canada and say, oh, they have a welfare, they have this, I'm not going to work. Yeah, so, yeah. Smail, I seen your question. You can come back to Morocco because they will just print your CV, your visa. They will send it to the embassy here and they will just put it in your passport. So as long as everything else is done, you're fine. You can come back to Morocco. Madame Sanjari, I thought you said you're a cook. You need to have experience, not in your diplomas, but you need to have experience in whatever contract you're going for. Again, pastry bakery, if you're a chef, that means you have responsibility. You can apply as a food service supervisor in a place like Starbucks in Morocco. It's called Tim Hortons, but it's in a place like Starbucks. It's called Tim Hortons in Canada. Anything else I see? The lady, she keeps asking me the same question, Madame Sanjari. I'm not too sure what she's asking me. If you are illegal out of this country, so for example, if you went to Italy by clandestine and it shows in your paperwork you applied there illegally, refugee, whatever, no. Canada will have knowledge of that and it's very hard to prove them otherwise that you'll get the visa and when you do, you'll leave Canada. And I think, oh, sorry, Madame. Yeah, so what about you? So if your husband, he gets a visa to Canada as a chef or a cook, whatever, you would get an open work permit. So you can work wherever you want. However, with our agency, what we do is we apply for you first, or your husband. Once he has his visa in his hand, then you can apply for your open work permit. Yeah, that's the way we work because we need to keep families as ties to your own country. Anyway, I think that's it's 1 hour and a half. I think that's pretty good. I know there's a lot of questions, but you're welcome to email me or phone the office. My secretary, she speaks French and Arabic and English, so you can ask her the questions, or you can look into YouTube. There's I answer quite a few questions there. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for coming out, and I wish the best for everyone in your endeavors to get to Canada or wherever it is you're going. And Fatma, thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming and for accepting to do this great live today. Les amis, voilà, c'était ça pour le live d'aujourd'hui. Vraiment, merci beaucoup parce que حضرتوا وشفتوا le live. J'espère que هذا le live غيقدر يفيد الناس ويستافدوا منه parce que هذا هو الهدف وأن الانفورماسيون تولي ما تبقاش محتكرة وتولي يعني الناس كلشي يكون عارف هذا الشيء ويعرفوا لي بروغرام اللي كاينين. دونك لا عندكم دي كيسيون كيما قلت مازال عندكم دي كيسيون كي سون اسي سبيسيفيك نيزيتي با انكم تكونتاكتيو مدام ديانا راني خليت صندوق الوصف خلاص كاع المعلومات ديالها كاع لي زانفورماسيون وان شاء الله جيسبر كو ربي يحقق لكم كاع الاماني ديالكم وان شاء الله كاع هاد الناس كاملين اللي معنا اليوم يمشيو لكندا ان شاء الله ويحققوا الاحلام ديالهم يخدموا اللهم ييسر كيف ما كنقول دائما اي فوالا لي زامي شكرا لكم encore une fois شكرا ديانا thank you so much so much for being with us today and for answering all these questions really I truly appreciate that.
I hope that I've answered as many as I can. I mean, I see a lot of questions, and unfortunately, we don't have the time or the energy to get through them all, especially when you're translating. But maybe in the future, if we have more requests, they can send them, ask the questions, and we can do another one again. It's no problem for me if we want to clarify more. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I wish you the best and be safe.
Yeah. Merci beaucoup les amis. À la prochaine, Inch'Allah. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.